7 Japanese keys to achieving a clean, functional, and emotionally light home. You know those Japanese homes we see in movies, where the floors shine, silence has a sound, and even the wind seems polite? Well, those homes are not like that by magic. They are the result of an ancient philosophy that understands that cleanliness is respect, and space is luxury. Have you ever stopped to think why the simplest Japanese homes manage to convey more peace than many Western mansions stuffed with things? The answer is not in the size of the space or the value of the furniture. It is in the way they understand the home. For the Japanese, a clean house is not luxury, it is respect. An organized house is not perfectionism, it is mental clarity. And when you learn to apply the same 7 practices they have been using for centuries, your house stops being a storage unit for junk and becomes a sanctuary of peace. But before we continue, subscribe to the Minimalist Home channel, turn on notifications, and leave that like, because when you do that, you are helping other women like you transform their homes and their lives. And believe me, you will want to revisit this video more than once. The first key is understanding that your home reflects your heart. This is perhaps the most invisible habit, but also the most powerful. In Japan, they believe that the state of the house shows the state of the soul. Messy house, tired heart. Accumulation, stored sorrows. Disorder, hidden anxieties. That is why taking care of the house is therapeutic. Each corner carries a piece of you. The Japanese maintain intention even in the details. Fresh flowers on the nightstand, gentle incense with natural aromas. Few objects, but all with meaning. Clean windows to let the light in. Plants that symbolize life and renewal. The Japanese concept of ma refers to the empty space between objects. Instead of filling every corner with furniture and decorations, the goal is to create balance between what is present and what is not. This empty space allows energy to flow freely and provides a sense of calm and tranquility in the environment. You can also apply this. It does not matter the size of your house or the neighborhood where you live. Just choose a corner and take care of it with presence and love. Light a candle, play music that calms you, remove what does not serve you well, place a fresh flower in a simple vase. Let your house speak to your heart. Because when you treat your house with love and respect, it responds. And the peace you seek outside begins to be born inside. Wabi-sabi, a Japanese aesthetic concept that values simplicity, imperfection, and transience, teaches us to appreciate the beauty of simple and imperfect things. It celebrates the passage of time and accepts the inevitable impermanence of life. This concept is deeply rooted in Zen philosophy and has a strong connection with minimalism. Like minimalism, Wabi-sabi encourages us to live with less, to value simplicity, and to focus on the essential. It invites us to recognize the beauty of things as they are, without the need for adornments or excesses. The second key is so simple that it becomes almost offensive to those who complain they do not have time: letting go. The Japanese have a concept called danshari, formed by 3 characters that mean refuse, discard, and separate. It is not just about throwing things away, it is about creating a mental filter before any object enters your house. You know that closet that looks like the wardrobe to Narnia, but instead of lions and witches, it only has dish towels and unresolved feelings? Yes, that one. And that drawer you can barely close? That closet that when you open it seems like it will collapse on top of you? That box stored in the corner of the room with things you do not even remember what they are anymore? This is not poorly done organization. It is emotional accumulation disguised as objects. In Japan, keeping the unnecessary is considered a weight on the soul. And look how interesting this is. Studies show that environments with excess visual stimuli increase levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. In other words, that pile of old magazines, those lids without containers, and those clothes that no longer fit are not just visual clutter. They literally steal your peace. A study from Princeton University discovered that the more objects compete for our attention in an environment, the harder it becomes for the brain to concentrate and process information. Each unnecessary item in the visual field is a small thief of mental energy. Did you know that in Japan, the act of sweeping the floor is so symbolic that some Buddhist monks believe that each movement of the broom also sweeps away the impurities of the soul? Cleaning is not seen only as a household task, but as a spiritual practice of purification. Now think with me. You keep that dress that only reminds you of when you were thinner. What for? To torture yourself every time you open the closet? I also used to keep clothes for when I would lose weight. The problem is that the clothes stayed, and I did not lose weight. In the end, what was tight was the closet, or that gift from someone who hurt you deeply, but you do not donate it because you feel guilty. Guilty of what? Of taking care of your own peace? Japanese philosophy is clear. The first step to organize is not to tidy up. It is to get rid of what no longer serves you. And that goes for objects and feelings too. A friend of mine, let us call her Jennifer, spent years keeping all the clothes from when she was thin. The closet was so full that she could barely find what to wear in the morning. Result? Every day started with frustration. When she finally decided to apply Danshari and donated all of it, something changed. Not only did the closet breathe, she also breathed. She stopped living comparing her body today with the body from 10 years ago. And you know what happened? With the free space, she bought 3 new pieces that she truly loved and that fit her now. The wardrobe became functional and she became happier. The Japanese criteria are direct. Does this still fulfill any function in my life? Does this object bring me joy when I look at it? If the answer is no to both questions, thank it and let it go. Thanking is important because it recognizes that that item had its purpose, but now it is over. Start small. Grab a bag today, choose a single room, and separate at least 10 items to donate, recycle, or discard. It seems little, but every time you do this, your mind becomes lighter and you start consuming more consciously. Letting go is an act of love for you, for your peace, for your house. Women who apply Danshari are the ones who come home and feel the air lighter. While others are fighting with the mess, you will be having your coffee in peace, with the delicious feeling that your house works in your favor. But it is no use letting go if each thing that remains still does not have a home. And that is where the third Japanese key comes in. The third key is to create fixed places for everything. In Japan, there is a rule taught since childhood. If you took it out of place, put it back. Period. There is no such thing as leaving it for later, leaving it there quickly, leaving it just for today. Each object has its sacred space. The remote control has a tray. The keys have a hook. The shoes have a specific place in the genkan, the entrance to the house. Nothing is left lying around. A study by the National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals showed that the average person spends approximately 1 hour per day looking for things that were placed in random places. 1 hour per day, 7 hours per week, 30 hours per month. That is almost a full day of work thrown in the trash just because you did not create a fixed place for your things. When you define a space for each item and respect that religiously, half the clutter disappears on its own. Keys never disappear again. The hair clip does not migrate to all rooms in the house. The house begins to function like a living and harmonious organism. The Japanese also value free surfaces. A clean table is not just aesthetics, it is mental health. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that visual disorder competes for brain attention and reduces the ability to process information. An empty kitchen counter facilitates cleaning and makes you want to cook. A nightstand with just a lamp and a book invites rest. It is not about perfection, it is about constancy. Start with the silverware drawer if you want. Define a place for everything and respect that as if it were a traffic rule. Your house thanks you. Your mind too. You can even organize everything perfectly. But if you do not clean with constancy, chaos returns stealthily. And that is why the fourth key is so powerful. The fourth key is to transform cleaning into a daily ritual. In Japan, cleaning is not that heavy burden of the weekend that everyone hates. It is a ritual, it is care, it is almost active meditation. In Japanese schools, 6-year-old children learn to clean their own classrooms. They sweep, mop, organize desks, and even clean the bathrooms. And nobody complains. You know why? Because they understand from an early age that taking care of the environment is taking care of the mind itself. This custom has roots in the post-war period, when Japan was devastated and without resources. The practice of cleaning schools emerged as a way to unite efforts to rebuild the country. But more than economy, it became a philosophy of life. Today, this tradition called Osoji is rooted in Shintoism and Buddhism. In Shintoism, cleaning is spiritual purification. In Buddhism, it is mindfulness, discipline, and mental clarity. Buddhist monks for centuries have practiced cleaning temples as meditation. Each movement with the cloth is an exercise in presence. The great trick of the Japanese is not to do heavy cleaning once a month. It is to clean constantly, 10 to 15 minutes a day. Finished cooking? Clean the stove right away. Something fell on the floor? Pick it up immediately. Washed your hands? Wipe the sink. The secret is simple, little but constant. With this, dirt never accumulates. The heavy weekend cleaning almost disappears. And look how curious. When the environment is clean, it silences the mind. Have you noticed how hard it is to relax in a messy house? Did you know that Japan even has an official day for annual cleaning called Osoji, celebrated in December? It is the Japanese equivalent to our end-of-year cleaning, only done with spiritual purpose. The idea is to eliminate all the accumulated dust of the year, physical and emotional, to receive the new year purified. I myself spent years hating cleaning because in my mind it was synonymous with spending hours scrubbing tile. Until I learned from a Japanese organization teacher that the problem was not cleaning, it was the strategy. When I started applying the 15 minutes daily, everything changed. In the morning, before coffee, I would wipe the kitchen counters. After lunch, I would arrange the sofa pillows. At night, before sleeping, I would clean the bathroom sink. In 1 week, my house was impeccable without that weight of dedicating an entire Saturday to it. And best of all, my mind became calmer, because when you know the house is in order, you truly rest. I remember once, after a terrible day, I started cleaning the kitchen without thinking. When I finished, I realized that what had been reorganized was me, not the kitchen. It is amazing how a damp cloth and 10 minutes of silence can replace a therapy session. But it is no use cleaning every day if your house does not have an entrance that protects your peace. And that is exactly what the fifth key teaches us. The fifth key is to treat the entrance as a sacred portal. In Japan, when entering the house, everyone takes off their shoes. They are organized at the entrance, in the space called genkan. It is not just hygiene, it is symbolic. By taking off shoes, the Japanese leave outside the stress, the rush, the dirt from the street, and the negative energies of the external world. It is like saying, from here inward, peace reigns. The genkan functions as a border between the outside world and the interior. It is a step below the main floor, and according to Japanese etiquette, shoes should be left in an orderly manner, aligned towards the door to make it easier to put them on again when leaving. The practice of taking off shoes before entering the house is over 1,000 years old, and is linked not only to the hygiene of the domestic environment, but also to Buddhist origins. Removing shoes is a way to prevent impure energies from the outside from invading the harmony of the home. The ideograms that form the word genkan mean mysterious and barrier, showing that this space is treated as a point of transition and protection. The entrance is treated with reverence. Many Japanese houses place fresh flowers in the genkan, a small plant, or an object that transmits calm. You can create this too without living in Japan. A clean mat, an organized space for shoes, a coat rack for bags and jackets, a green plant, or a picture that calms you. When your entrance welcomes you, the rest of the house follows the same rhythm. Think with me. What is the first thing you see when you open the door? A bunch of shoes thrown around? Bags left on the floor? Umbrella dripping? Or a clean, organized, and inviting space? A sacred entrance prepares the ground. But for it to really work, you need to understand that less is infinitely more. And that brings us to the sixth key. The sixth key is to adopt minimalism as a lifestyle. In Japan, minimalism is not a passing fad or an aesthetic trend from Instagram. It is a lifestyle rooted in culture for centuries. The fewer things, the more freedom. It does not mean living with scarcity, but with intention. Each item has a clear function or real meaning. The Japanese prefer one useful and beautiful object than 10 without purpose. Fumio Sasaki, one of the biggest defenders of Japanese minimalism, lived in an apartment stuffed with things. He was a compulsive collector and felt his life was out of control. One day, tired of seeing so much disorder around him, he realized he was trapped by objects. He began to get rid of everything. Today, he lives with the essentials: a table, a bed, some books, a laptop, and hygiene items. And he guarantees he has never been happier. By getting rid of possessions, he found clarity about his values and his personality. We live accumulating clothes we do not wear, pots that only take up space, decorations that only gather dust. All of this steals energy. All of this screams disorder. A study by UCLA discovered that the more objects a family owns, the higher the cortisol levels of the women in the house. In other words, excess literally makes you sick. Marie Kondo, another Japanese reference in organization, created the KonMari method based on a simple question: does this bring me joy? If yes, it stays. If not, thank it and let it go. The method is to organize by category, not by room. First clothes, then books, papers, miscellaneous objects, and lastly, sentimental items. That way, you train your letting go criteria starting with the easiest and ending with the hardest. Want to practice? Start with the kitchen. Get rid of containers without lids, broken glasses, duplicate utensils. Then go to the wardrobe. Clothes that do not fit, shoes that hurt, pieces kept out of guilt. Having less makes tidying simpler, facilitates cleaning, slows down the mind. Excess shouts, the essential whispers. It is in the silence of simple things that peace resides. But having less only works if you create structure to maintain it. And that structure has a name: routine. It is the seventh key. The seventh key is to create daily micro-routine. Many people think routine is prison. In Japan, it is the opposite. Routine is care, it is anchoring, it is healthy predictability. Small daily rituals build great transformations. In the morning, open windows to renew the air, make the bed, prepare coffee with calm and presence. At night, clean the kitchen sink, arrange the sofa cushions, separate clothes for the next day. Simple, short, constant. This sequence creates rhythm and protects the house from accumulated chaos. Without routine, chaos enters slowly like a silent thief. With routine, order is maintained, and so is peace. A study by Duke University showed that about 40% of the actions we perform daily are not conscious decisions, they are habits. This means that when you create positive micro-routines, they run on autopilot, and your life improves without conscious effort. Create your personal micro-routine. It can be having coffee looking out the window. It can be lighting a candle while tidying the living room. It can be playing music that calms you while cleaning the kitchen. What matters is not the gesture, it is the repetition. Constancy creates familiarity, and familiarity generates comfort. And when your house has rhythm, your mind does too. A client of mine, Patricia, was always complaining that she had no time for anything. She worked all day, came home tired, and found everything messy. The weekend was that rush to clean everything, and there was zero time left to rest. I taught her 3 simple micro-routines. In the morning, make the bed as soon as you get up. In the afternoon, when arriving from work, hang the clothes and put the bag in place. At night, wash the dishes before sleeping. Just that. In 2 weeks, she sent me a message saying the house was always in order, and she was less stressed. The secret? She stopped accumulating mess. But all these keys only make sense when you understand the principle behind everything. And this is the deepest teaching that Japan can give us. You do not need to live in Japan to apply these 7 keys. You do not need to change houses or lives. You just need to take the first step today. A bag of things to donate. 10 minutes of conscious cleaning. A corner just for you with something that brings you joy. External change begins inside. And when you take command of your house, something also changes inside you. Because in the end, true luxury is not having more. It is opening the door of your house, taking a deep breath, and feeling that inside there, everything makes sense. And that, my dear, not even Louis Vuitton sells. In the end, that is what everyone wants, peace. And peace begins in the place where you live. Now I want to know from you, which of these 7 keys will you apply first? Subscribe to the Minimalist Home channel, leave that like, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next videos. When you do that, you are helping other women like you receive this information that transforms houses and lives. See you in the next video. Did you enjoy the video? Subscribe to the Minimalist Home channel, give it a like, and turn on the notification bell. By doing this, you are helping other people, just like you, receive good information like this and transform their homes into true sanctuaries of peace and harmony.